The next time you are at your local dollar store, pick up some wire garden hanging baskets. Start this project by removing the hook and chains from the baskets. Turn one wire basket upside down and place on top of a second basket. Secure together by using 3 zip ties that are placed equidistant from each other. Now take a string of LED lights and fill the battery box with batteries. Remote control LED lights are best for this project, but it will work without the remote style as well. Hang the battery box inside the basket globe and connect to the top. Turn the lights on and wrap the lights evenly around the globe, both vertically and horizontally. Secure the end of the light string to the basket using a twist tie. Using a leafy garland of your choice, like this eucalyptus garland, cut off the various leaves at their base. Using a garland is much more cost-effective for this project than using lots of different separate picks because you can get lots of different leaves in shorter lengths. Start to tuck and glue the different leaves to the wire basket globe. You don't need to cover the globe entirely. In fact, keep the placement of the leaves just a little sparse so the LED lights can shine through. Now, remember all those chains and hooks that you removed from the baskets? Let's put them to good use. Using a screwdriver or scissors, wedge it into the bottom of the hook and loosen so the chains can be removed from the hook. Reconfigure the chains by connecting 3 chains to create 1 long chain, 2 chains to create 1 medium chain, and leave 1 chain as is. Reconnect these chains of different lengths to the hooks and tighten the hook back together using some pliers. You can hang these from any ceiling hook or even a tree branch. If you have a porch swing, here is a fun way to hang the globes without drilling additional holes into your porch ceiling. Thread the stick through your porch swing ceiling hooks to create a horizontal rod and hang your garden globes from the branch. Use your remote to turn the lights on and enjoy the warm glow of your new outdoor lighting. I hope this inspired you to create beautiful outdoor garden globe lighting from inexpensive dollar store hanging baskets.
go ahead and grab yourself a tomato cage and also grab some wood shims. Grab a scrap board, take the thick end. We're going to get a nice clean hole, and we're going to do this to all of our shims. What we're going to do is take a towel and just dip it in there, make sure it's all covered. Just wipe it on there. The sticky points that go into the ground, we don't need those. It's just going to snap right off. Now we're going to grab us some copper wire. We're going to put that through the shim with the hole in it. Just use it like a twist tie. Go all the way around. Once you get the second layer done, we're going to grab us a solar light from Dollar Tree. Take off that small part on the bottom, the stake. We don't need that. And let it float right in the middle. Now we're going to work on that last circle. And when the night starts to fall, watch this. That thing is going to light up, and you don't even have to turn it on or off. It works its magic automatically and recharges during the day. Headed down to local Dollar Tree to grab some rope, some clear bottles, and some cool little lights. Just take the hook off the top of the light. Next, we're going to take the bulb off. Next, we need to take the actual light mechanism and pop it out. What we need to do is paint this cover. Now on the bottle, we have a cork here. We can go ahead and just remove that. Next, I grabbed off of Amazon a bottle cutter. Put the bottle on the rollers and you go ahead and start turning it. What you want to do is hear this noise. That means you're cutting right through the bottle, but it won't cut all the way through. I'm going to show you a little cut line on there. Stick the bottle in the boiling water for a good 30 seconds. Once you got it in there and it's heated up, immediately go ahead and put it in the icy cold water. It's going to separate along the score line, and look at that. Perfect. Takes off the bottom and you got a nice flat smooth line. Put the lights back through our painted cover and clip it back on. Take some E6000 glue and place it around the edge. Take some hot glue and put it in the areas I didn't put the E6000 on. That's going to hold the cover in place while the glue is drying. We're going to stick the lights inside the bottle, set the cover on top. Then we're going to take that rope, stick some hot glue on the neck of the bottle, let that hold, and then we're going to start wrapping it all the way around the neck. And then take this extra twine, we're going to put it through the hook. I made 3 of these and we put them up, and it made a perfect summer afternoon.
This taper candle holder I found at a thrift store. I added silicone to each holder spot and then added the top of a solar light to each one. I let it dry for 24 hours. And it's ready to go outside. Using a stencil or freehand, you can paint or use a Sharpie to draw on your numbers. Add some glass rocks or any decoration inside you like. Add some water, as it will amplify the light reflection. Pull your solar light apart, and you only need the top piece. Place that inside the lid of the mason jar and screw the lids back on. You'll need 3 different size terracotta pots. This is so they'll stack easily. Start by painting your terracotta pots whatever color you like. Pull the solar light apart and cut the little stem off the solar light to make it flat. Add silicone to the base of the solar light and put it on the top of the terracotta pots for your light. Using some more paint or Sharpies, draw on your windows or any other decorations you'd like. Once it's dry, you're all set to go. You can put it outside and enjoy it.
I picked up a couple of these dollar store solar lights, and I'm going to take them apart. So I'm going to cover the light bulb on the bottom, and then I'm going to cover the solar panel on top, and then use a craft knife to cut around it so you get perfectly straight lines. So I'm going to untwist this screw and put that aside. I'm taking them outside, and I am adding a couple coats of a matte black spray paint. Make sure they're fully dry to the touch, and now we can assemble. So first we want to remove the painter's tape so that these solar lights work. On the clear plastic part, there are 2 little clips that help attach it to the top. And I'm just going to take some floral wire and wrap it around each one of those clips. Wrap it nice and tight so it hugs the plastic closely. And then I'm able to screw the black part back on top, and the wire is still going to hang out either side. I picked this chain up at the craft store. It is actually in the jewelry section. I'm going to thread the chain through the screw and tighten it about halfway. So I'm just going to use my floral wire and wrap it around that hoop. I want to make sure it's centered. Now I can put this middle hoop, the smaller hoop, back inside the larger one. I can tighten this screw and it should hold together really well with tension. I made a couple of these dollar store solar light pendants to hang on my deck.
This taper candle holder I found at a thrift store. I placed silicone in the base and added the top part of a solar light onto it. I let it dry completely and placed it on my side table as a lamp. This tea light holder I found was supposed to have a lampshade. I placed a solar light minus the stem into the tea light location, and I placed an old glass shade over the top. I ran across this candle holder chandelier at the flea market. I first brought it home and I spray painted it with Rust-Oleum metallic spray paint. Afterwards, I put the tops of solar lights in each spot where the tea light candle holders went. I hung it up and I had a new solar chandelier.
You're going to need some dollar store solar lights. So the first thing we're going to do is flip the bowl upside down, and we need to remove the label. Next, I'm going to focus on the solar light. So we just take the stem off. We're not even going to need that. You need to open up the solar light and pull out the tag so that the solar light works. Then you can place that back on, and this part is ready to be used. This will be the base of our project. What I'll be using for this project for weight are these dollar store rocks. So I'm going to be placing them inside. For the next step, I'm going to place the solar light in top like this. I'll go ahead and add a few more rocks to this. So what I'm going to do is add a little dab of hot glue on each corner, like so. I'm going to take that bowl and flip it upside down and place it right there on top so it's centered. So just to show you, if I remove this out, you can see here, I would be able to pull this off and replace this easily with another dollar store solar light if this burns out at some point. Here they are in my dish flower garden, and I'm thrilled with how they turned out.
To begin this project, choose your solar light set. Next, using 1/2 inch by 3/4 inch board, measure and cut 8 8-inch sections. Using a rad nailer, I secured these together, creating a square, but if you don't have access to this tool, you can always use a screw. Next, decide how long you want your light to be. We chose to use a 1 by 2 by 30 inch board. After sanding, find the middle of the board and mark off 5 points. We spaced ours 5 inches apart. Using a paddle bit, drill through the center of the board. After finding the center on the side piece and the length board, line them up and then secure. Once everything is square, measure your final 4 boards to make a hollow rectangle. Cut and secure these as you did the side squares. Finally, attach 2 eye hooks to either side to use for hanging. After my eye hooks were secure, I attached 3 feet of black chain link to each side of my chandelier. You can leave this raw wood and coat with a polyurethane to protect it from the outdoors, but I chose to use a satin black spray paint. Once my spray paint was dry, it was time to secure my solar lights. This took a little force, but warming up the plastic in the sun can make the tube more pliable. I chose to cut down my tubes, but this is of course personal preference. I have a pergola out back where I hung my new chandelier from 2 screw hooks. I absolutely love the new ambiance it creates, not only at nighttime, but it also adds a designer touch to my outdoor space.
I printed a deer design from my computer and traced it on a clear Ziploc bag. I cut a square hole in the cardboard box using a utility knife. Next, I taped the Ziploc bag design over the hole. Then, I placed the box in front of the wall. I turned my cell phone light on. I put it inside of the box at the opposite end as the design, and I closed the lid. Put covers over the windows. I traced the design on the wall using a pencil. Once I was done, I turned the lights back on and was ready to paint. I was careful to work from top down and left to right so I didn't smudge the wet paint. When it was completely dry, I removed the remaining pencil marks with an eraser and damp rag. And here's my stunning wall feature for only the cost of paint. It really gave this book nook a wow factor and has made 2 boys very happy.
So I went to the dollar store and I bought 3 bags of those vase filler gems. After sorting them, I washed them off using Blue Dawn and water and then laid them out to dry. I drew lines from the edge of the vanity to meet the mirror line. I applied a thin coat of mastic using a small notched trowel. Then the fun began as I pressed the gems into the mastic. I worked in small sections so the mastic wouldn't dry too quickly. Once I was done, I mixed the grout. I mixed 1 cup of grout to a half a cup of water. I applied the grout in small sections, making sure I was pushing it between each of the gems. I wanted to make sure that every spot was filled in between them. After 1 hour, I checked again, and yep, it was nice and dry. Using a large spun and plain water, I washed away all of the excess grout. I removed the painter's tape that I had placed on the top of the vanity and applied caulk, smoothing it out with my finger. Now, what a difference it makes, and no more splattered wall.
I fell in love with this beautiful floral fabric and I knew it would be perfect on my office wall. We measured the wall to make sure we purchased enough. We knew we needed 3 panels, so we had them cut accordingly. We started in the corner and used a staple gun to secure the fabric in place. After that, we used spray adhesive to ensure the fabric was well secured. Before drying starts, gently smooth out all air bubbles. Don't forget to overlap about 1 inch with each panel for a smooth transition, and line up your patterns as best you can. Once all panels are hung, smooth and staple along the bottom about 1/4 of an inch above your baseboard. Using an X-Acto knife, cut fabric starting in the top corner going down. This will help to make sure the fabric does not stretch or tear. Place your knife between the baseboard and a credit card to help you make the perfect straight line. Gently cut around any outlets using your X-Acto knife and a credit card. And there you have it, a fun and easy change to any room.
So I headed to the hardware store and picked up some 1x4s. I measured the wall and marked out where my boards would go on the wall. I made sure it was level and then used a nail gun to attach the boards vertically to the wall. Now I could measure down for the horizontal boards. Then I cut the horizontal boards and attached them. I cut the board around the outlet area and left plenty of space around it so that I wouldn't have any problem plugging things in the future. I caulked the inside edges of my newly formed accent wall boxes. Once this dried, I sanded down the joints. I picked out a blue color that I thought would look soothing in the room, and it only cost me $30. That was the cost of the wood, since I didn't have to pay for the paint, since it's something that I reused from a previous project.
Grab some of these baskets. Cut the pool noodle with a serrated knife. I hot glued the pool noodle into place. Next, I cut the poster board. I grabbed some dollar store contact paper and then folded up the sides as well. Grabbed a piece of poster board and I measured it into 6 sections. Then I added the pieces of poster board so that items won't fall through the holes. Here's how it turned out, and I absolutely am thrilled.
2 blue buckets that I found at Dollar Tree, cutting the handles off. I'm going to be flipping them over, glue them together. I'm stacking my other bowl on top of it. We're going to take our pool noodles and we're going to start cutting them in half, all the way down on both sides, putting enough glue and then holding the pool noodle in place, pulling the pool noodle to form the shape. I'm taking caulk, adding it to the indentations between my pool noodles, but I'm just going to be painting this entire thing white. Stone spray paint, and we are going to spray it completely. And here is the finished product.
Get this tag off of your trash can. I have put on chalkboard stickers. I can add everybody's name. I'm going to go ahead and place the hook, and it's going to fit nice and snug onto the hook with some of our summer supplies, and then we place those into the bucket. Pick a selection of snacks, place the card games in there, and you've got an easy grab and go.
Connecting 4 buckets by the handles. And I'm going to use a Sharpie to mark where I can connect these buckets. Now I'm going to use a wood burning tool to put some holes. I'm just going to connect them with zip ties again. We're just going to add those holes, add the zip ties. The very top is going to have 1 bucket right on top. So I'm going to clip off all the ends of the zip ties and your toy organizer is done.
You'll need a laundry basket. Start at one end and wrap the rope around the basket, gluing as you go. Continue until you have the entire basket covered with the rope. I'm brushing on a wood stain. Find dead center of your tabletop. Find a picture or design you want for your tabletop. Cut away any extra white paper that doesn't have toner on it. Generously apply and brush the photo transfer medium onto the printed side of the paper. I'm adding some transfer medium to the tabletop as well. Carefully place your design face down. Spritz plain water onto the paper. Carefully rub the surface in a circular motion. The paper will start to flake off. Continue rubbing and spritzing until all of the paper is gone. Seal and protect your design with a spray clear coat. Add a couple of handles. The side table is perfect for storing away throws you want to keep nearby.
Or grab one of these inexpensive plastic bins.
I want to make sure that the surface is roughed up a bit. I'm going to give it a coat of white paint. I'm using a chip brush and then I just lightly sweep it across the surface. And I can even create some faux knots with the glaze as well. Now that the paint and glaze are completely dry, I want to fancy up the handles a little bit. I've grabbed some of this thick twine and I'm going to wrap it around each one.
I love how pretty this plastic bin looks now. You wouldn't even know it's the same one.
I'm going to grab this trash can, take the top off. Now I'm going to use a really strong adhesive. I'm going to put it all over the back of the stair tread and then wrap it around the trash can. I want to make this look a little bit antique, so I am using a silver rub and buff. And I'm going to put a little on the bottom of the can too. I'm going to put some drainage holes in this and place it in the top of the trash can. And now I can fill the top with soil and plants. This is an inexpensive way to use an old trash can.
break out of jail. That is, the Walmart ball jail. You also need some green reindeer moss. Start by spray painting the Walmart ball with moss green spray paint. Separate the large pieces and stretch out any chunks that are thick. With a can of general spray adhesive, spritz a small portion of the ball with the adhesive. Take a small patch of green moss and press it onto the ball in the sticky area. Press and hold for a few seconds to make sure it sticks. Continue to spray the ball and attach the green moss to the outside. Once you cover the entire ball with spray adhesive and moss, give the entire moss-covered ball an overall coat of the spray adhesive. Style it in a woven basket for a textured boho look. Place in a low, colored glass bowl for a more modern look. And for a traditional look, a large ceramic pot is perfect for this moss-covered ball.
I found one of these larger ones for $2.50. We're going to be using this vinyl tablecloth. So we're just going to gather up our fabric, going to take our scissors and cut it off. I'm actually going to string 2 zip ties together, and what we're going to do is gather our fabric. So now that we have our little cluster of fabric secured, what we can do then is take our zip tie and tie it off. Cut the excess zip tie off. All I've been doing is just pulling a little bit, piece by piece, of the top until we have that nice pleating. So we're just going to snip all of that excess off. Take our ribbon, I'm just going to take it and place it right here and secure it once more with the zip tie. Now it's time to add some flowers. Dip them in our glue skillet and I'm placing it on the inside of this. So now we cut off the individual leaves, and what we can do then is just poke them right in. So then we can take a few more of these wisteria stems. Now we have some of these beautiful pink roses, and here is the finished ball. You can do this in different colors for different seasons and holidays, and varied sizes for added texture.
I found this fun shower curtain. I'm going to start by painting the table. Use a utility knife and run it along the edge. I want to seal the paint to protect it. Put a layer of Mod Podge all over the glass, and now I'm going to lay the shower curtain onto it. I want to trim off the excess, add one more layer of Mod Podge over the top for added protection. This little table is so cute now, perfect for sunny days on the balcony.
Get this clay pot sealer and give it a nice gentle spray. Give them a coat. This Rust-Oleum, this silicone glue, waterproof, flexible. Pull my jute rope right into it. So I'm going to do the same thing right there. Open up the silicone. Put this all around the top, centered right on there. There we have my side table. I think this is exactly what you might want to make this summer.
To start, I'm going to need a wood crate, and I'm going to give this a good coat of paint here. So I'm going to flip that desktop over. Then I'm just going to drill some holes and add some screws. To dress it up, I'm just going to add a table runner, faux greenery, some lemons, and a few candles. I'm adding some cushions to the ground, and this makes the perfect outdoor seating area.
And grab some planters right off the shelf, some primer, and some textured finish. We're going to go with this square base. So we're going to put some glue here right around the edges. And I'm just going to wipe it around the edge just like this. Put it right on top. This waterproof container right here, flip it over. I can just take the glue now and just put it all inside here. Go ahead and take our pot, put it right inside there. We're going to go ahead and put some glue right on top. Want to make sure that we get it just centered perfectly. And I want to put on a good coat of primer. I went with an off-white cream color, get every square inch. Look at how good that looks right at your front door.
So this is the old footboard and headboard. Remove the wheels, measure the footboards, and now I'm using a jigsaw to cut down the line. Turn my footboard over and cut from the top. I trimmed off the top piece as well. I cut out the third spindle on each piece. Using a drill, I drilled 3 pilot holes to secure the screws tightly in place. I did this in the exact same way I did the other side. I cut 2 pieces of wood. I placed my wood pieces in place. I used a miter saw to cut all the vertical pieces. I placed them vertically. I wanted to paint my bench first before fixating them. I placed the vertical slats in place. I secured the slats into place. Now that my bench was completed and finished, I placed it here on the porch.